Texas destroys Baylor 38-6 in probably their last meeting in conference. I think it was their 100th meeting last night, or like the 112th meeting, something like that. But anyways, it's been a long rivalry with Texas versus Baylor. And I don't really call it a rivalry. I mean, they're just a divisional foe. They might look at it as a rivalry, but we as Texas fans don't. We have two rivals, and they are on our schedule next year, and it's going to be Oklahoma and Texas A&M. Those are our rivals. Baylor is not. But hey, they look at it as a rivalry. It is what it is. If that's the case, then we just beat Baylor in our last in-conference appearance for the foreseeable future as a rival. 38-6, Texas does their thing. They dominate on the offensive side of the ball and also the defensive side of the ball. One thing that they did not dominate on this week was the special teams. But folks, we will get into that here in just a minute. But let's look, folks, like, comment, and subscribe to this channel here. If you're listening to this on the streaming podcast platform, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, like, comment, subscribe, and share that as well. And let's just get here into the stats, folks. Last night was an outstanding game. Sark was in his bag last night, folks. He had just an outstanding game plan from the jump. This year, we have been a team that has not started off very fast. We weren't as efficient as we have been in the last 2 years, basically for the first half. But we've come on and had some great adjustments in the second half, been a more efficient team. And we've done things in the second half that we wish we could have done in the second half last year to close out games. But this year has kind of been the reverse. I think last night's game was great for us because we were able to jump out fast, be efficient, score 28 points there in the first half and do great things, and be able to have a more balanced and efficient offense in the second half. Yes, we didn't score a lot of points, but we left a lot of points on the board, but we will get into that. This episode is brought to you by BetUS.com. Go to BetUS.com and get yourselves a 125% sign-up bonus using the promo code NinosCorner at BetUS.com. Folks, go download that BetUS.com app from your favorite Apple phone or Android phone and get yourselves a 125% sign-up bonus using the promo code NinosCorner. Let's go ahead and just jump into these stats. If you go to NinosCornerSports.com, you'll just be able to come and look at all the stats that we have here for the team. So let's go into the analysis side of the house, and let's just jump into the quarterbacks. And we'll look at Quinn Ewers and exactly how he did for this game. If we click on Quinn's picture there. So, folks, for the Baylor game, I got 18 for 26, 293 yards, 16.28 yards per completion, 11.27 yards per attempt. It's the best in both of these areas for the entire season so far. And it's probably the best of his career, too, as well, once you look at the actual totality. But look, he had one passing TD and also one rushing TD. His TD per completion rate was about 5.6%. And his TD per attempt at 3.8% as well. No interceptions this year. Could have thrown a pick. He threw a ball to Baxter, and it was kind of I wouldn't say a lazy throw, but it didn't have no zip on it. And the DB from Baylor actually cut on that ball, and he had an opportunity to pick that ball, but he didn't. But so no interceptions this game. 4 explosive plays this game, folks. One thing that we were looking at were the explosive plays from Texas, meaning plays that are 20 yards or more from the passing game. Quinn did an outstanding job, just for the explosive plays. Just off the top of my head, we had one to JT Sanders from Quinn. We had another one, I think, to Gunnar Helm, if I'm not mistaken. Quinn had an explosive play running the ball, but that's not included in this metric. We had one to Jonte Cook, who the announcers called Johnny Cook. They were just horrible off the board when it comes to getting the names right for these teams. And Trey Wisner, they didn't say Trey, they said something else. So look, it is what it is. But look, anyways, so like a 51-yard pass, I think, to Jonte Cook. We had a 29-yard run from Quinn, also a long pass to JT Sanders. I don't know if the Helm ball was a XP, but look, much more improved over this season for explosive plays, especially the deep balls, than what we had last year. So far right now, Quinn has if we're looking at this, 15 explosive plays. And so we can check that here for the 2023 season. So last year he had 36. So we're like a quarter of the way through the season. If you take a look at that, you multiply that times 4, you're looking at 60 explosive plays, right? So we shall see. But kudos to Quinn for for no interceptions. Now, out of those completions, 18 completions, 14 were successful, passing plays, which means on first down, you're getting at least half the yardage on first down. To get another first down on second down, at least 70% of the yardage on third and fourth down, 100% of the yardage. So 14 of those plays met those metrics. So at a clip of 77.8%, truly outstanding. And so his SP per attempt, folks, was at 54%, which has been the best so far this season. And the SP per completion was not the best so far this season, but kind of tied with the first game against Rice. And the best one so far this season was against Wyoming last week. But we honestly didn't pass the ball a lot. We were very vanilla. So that was the stats here for Quinn Ewers. Now, I know Murphy did get some snaps, but he only passed the ball once, so I won't go into that. But we'll look at the wide receivers. No, how about this? Let's look at running backs. I want to take a look at the guy who stole the show today, and that's Jonathan Brooks, folks. And I did a video here about Jonathan Brooks last week saying that he is that dude. Please do not forget about Jonathan Brooks because he is an outstanding asset to this team. And we'll just look at his numbers here. His NCN rushing number, which tracks how effective and efficient a runner is 76.8 for this game. So he has been highly efficient for his rushing this season every game. Starting with the Rice game, down to the Bama game, to Wyoming, and now to Baylor. The average NCN score for a running back kind of lies between that 45 to like 47 point range, and we've seen that he has been above average every game this season, and has come up especially here in his first game against conference play and his game against Alabama, folks, which was a Power 5 competition as well. So just looking and seeing what he has done here for his team, as far as being efficient and effective. So first off, folks, 18 attempts for 106 yards at 5.89 yards per carry. Truly outstanding for Jonathan Brooks. 6 out of those 18 carries were for first down. That's that magic number we like, folks. It's around 33%. So at least 1 out of every 3 carries, he is getting a first down. So that means I can sit back, hand the ball off to my running back 3 times in a row, and I'm going to get a first down. We never go into fourth down, hypothetically. That's why you want that number to be around 33%. 2 rushing TDs. So 11% of the time that he carried the rock this game, he got a touchdown. And 1 explosive play was that 40-yard run. So my XPs, which are explosive plays for rushing, are rushes that are 15 yards or more. He had 1 of those, and that was that 40-yard run for a touchdown. So his XP per attempt is about 5.6%. Not bad at all. And out of those 18 carries, 7 were successful plays. So a 38.9% SP per attempt rate. That needs to come a little bit higher. We usually want that, the 45 to 50% range. But look, Brooks had a good game. They did kind of game plan and kind of gear up to stop him. But Texas has so many weapons that when they did game plan to stop him, Texas went over the top. And that's why we were able to see a guy like JT Sanders do his thing today, which we'll get into in a minute. And, A.D. Mitchell had a good game. The receivers as a whole had a really good game when it comes to grading out for the NCN score. Outstanding game for those receivers. Now, folks, no fumbles again. So he has been very blessed with not having any fumbles this season. And he had 1 target, 1 reception for 18 yards and 1 first down. No touchdowns on receptions, folks. And I think that completion was 18 yards, so it wasn't an explosive play. But Brooks had a hell of a game. Hell of a game. So if you look at what he's doing here for the season, his NCN number, which is the NinosCorner number, is 66.35. Again, like we say, the average here for college for a running back is between like 45 to 50 points. It's kind of say around 47 points. But yeah, he's doing outstanding when it comes to toting the rock. 66 carries for 379 yards. which pretty much he already has more yards this year than he had in the previous two combined. But 5.74 yards per attempt, 17 first downs. So his first down per attempt rate is about 26%. Want that to be about 33%, but 3 rushing touchdowns, um, 4 explosive plays at a rate of 6%, and 30 successful plays, which is right around 46%. Like I said, you want that to be around the 50% range if you can. That means you're really effective and really efficient. Every other time you're touching the ball, that means you're very successful. You are a successful running back. Look, that's all you can really ask for. But he's hovering around that 50% number, and that's what we love. No fumbles, which is great. So that is Jonathan Brooks in a nutshell for this game. Let's go to the other running back that did some great things too as well. Let's look at C.J. Baxter. So C.J. Baxter caught the ball pretty well, in this game as well. If you look at his numbers for Texas at Baylor, he had an NCN rushing number of 71.55, 6 carries for 21 yards at an average of 3.5 yards per attempt, 2 first downs. So there's that number again, folks, 33%, even though it's on limited snaps. He had 1 touchdown, which is really what boosted his number up very well. No explosive plays. 2 out of his 6 carries were successful. So again, 33%. You want that number to be around 50% or very close to it. No fumbles, 3 targets in the passing game and 2 receptions, 16 yards at 8 yards per reception, 1 first down out of those 2 receptions, and no explosive plays when it comes to those receptions. C.J. Baxter has been a great option here for this Texas team. We'll look at him for the season here, 49.99. So right at 50 points for the NCN rushing number, which is outstanding, for a rookie. So it's right there on par with like the average for a running back in college is 47 points. So he's right at 50, which is above average, which is what you want here for a true freshman here in college football. 22 attempts at 90 yards at 4 yards a carry, and 5 out of those 22 touches were for first downs, 1 rushing TD and 1 explosive play. And I think that explosive play was against Rice, if I'm not mistaken. That's the play that he got hurt on. But yeah, 6 successful plays at a rate of 27%. So that's C.J. Baxter's numbers in a nutshell. Let's go to the wide receivers. And if we go to the wide receivers, folks, let's look at just all of them in general. Let's go with Xavier Worthy because he had a hell of a game. Xavier Worthy, his game for the game against Baylor here, 96.43 points in the receiving side of the house. So his NCM receiving is at 96.43 points. 3 targets and 3 receptions at 100%, catch percentage, which is awesome. So 31 receiving yards, 2 first downs on those 3 catches, 1 touchdown, 1 explosive play. Xavier Worthy did his thing, even though it was not the flashiest of numbers, but you got to look at the totality of his game here. He blocked well. Also he threw a pass to J.T. Sanders, which was, I think, J.T. Sanders' longest, it was his longest pass play of the game. No, it's the second longest pass play of the game. But look, he did a great job here. Blocked well, did everything well. The only thing that he didn't do well, I had to give him maybe a B-, is on special teams. He had a hell of a return, but he had the muffed punt. And that's one thing that we're going to talk about here with this team about the 3 phases of the game. I think Texas won 2 out of those 3, but having those 2 muffed punts and a missed field goal there for special teams gives them not a favorable grade for the special teams unit, which is usually the most reliable unit here on the squad. Now, let's take a look at Adonai Mitchell. Adonai Mitchell is the other wide receiver here. He's our boundary wide receiver. He had a good game. 66 points for the NCN number. 4 targets, 3 receptions at 46 yards, 3 first downs. So every catch he had was for a first down. So 100% rate for first down per reception, which is what you want. 1 explosive play. So, 33% explosive play per reception rate. And all 3 of his catches were successful in nature. So they were positive movement to get to a first down. So kudos to AD Mitchell, Adonai Mitchell. 29 yards of yak, folks. So 9.67 yards per reception in yak. So look, Adonai Mitchell's doing his thing. this team really didn't have to use our playmakers that much. We have so many playmakers, folks, that it's hard for all these guys to get their stats up. Last week, JT Sanders didn't have a catch. He had no yards. This week, he was the star of the room when it comes to receiving. So you just got to look at things like that. Let's look at number 13, Jordan Whittington. For this game, folks, 56.28 points for the NCN receiving number, 2 targets at 2 receptions, 19 yards, 1 first down, no explosive plays, and both of his catches were successful plays. So not like a lot of earth-shattering numbers here for our Texas wide receivers, but let's look at one other guy that I want to take a look at, and that's going to be Jonte Cook. Not Johnny Cook, like the announcer said, Jonte Cook the second. All right. He's going to be a playmaker here, folks. He's going to be a playmaker here for this game. 151.22 for the NCN receiving number. Now, look, last game, he had 1 drop. He had one target and 1 drop. So that's why I get that number. All that stuff's going to come to the mean. 1 target, 1 reception, 51 yards, 1 first down, 1 explosive play. He made the best out of the situation he was given. And I tell you what, 1 catch for 51 yards, that's a true freshman. He is contributing to this team, an outstanding asset. And I'm telling you, folks, when Xavier Worthy goes to the league and if Adonai Mitchell goes to the league next year, we're in great hands with guys like Jonte Cook. You got to love what you see with Jonte Cook, man. Just a very versatile, very athletic, very gifted wide receiver, and he's going to do some great things here at Texas. You can already see it on the film. He passes the eye test, and it's no joke. And so whoever is throwing him the ball next year, whether it is Quinn Ewers, whether it is Malik Murphy or Arch Manning, man, they got a weapon on their hands, with them. So look, I truly enjoy watching him play, and I can't wait to see him get more snaps here, either this season or coming up in the next season. So let's go into the tight ends, folks. Tight ends. Let's look at our guy, JT Sanders. Jatavian Sanders, folks. What a game JT Sanders had for this game. 63.97 NCN receiving number. 7 targets, 5 receptions, 110 yards. So 22 yards per reception. 4 first downs out of those 5 catches. So an 80% first down per reception rate. Outstanding. It's the second time this season he's posted that. He did that also against Alabama. 2 explosive plays, folks. He had the 1 catch from Xavier Worthy, and he had the 1 catch from Quinn. Explosive plays, which are plays that are 20 yards or more in the passing game. So 2 out of those 5 catches, man. So that's a 40% rate for explosive play per reception rate. 4 out of his 5 catches were successful plays at an 80% clip. And he had 67 yards of yak. So yards after catch, man. So 67 out of those 110 yards were yards after catch, yards after contact. So I tell you what, man, you got to love JT Sanders. Brock Bowers gets all the praise, as he should. He's an outstanding tight end. I love JT Sanders, though. It may be because I'm a Longhorn. But JT Sanders, is as much praise as Bowers get, there's JT Sanders, there's not that much of a drop-off, if any, when it comes to a tight end. So college folks, man, who follow this college football stuff, man, y'all got to start showing JT Sanders some love. This dude is going to be a baller at the next level. He has great hands, really good speed, and a very good athlete for a guy that's almost 250 pounds, folks. He's going to be a hell of a player at the next level. He's already a great player here at the collegiate level. Cannot wait to see what he does at the next level. But JT Sanders, folks, we got to start talking about him as one of these top tight ends here in the country. He's shooting up NFL draft boards as we speak because of just how versatile he is. And his blocking has come such a long way from when he first got here on campus. And folks, that is kudos to guys like Jeff Banks. So JT Sanders did this game. But look, he wasn't the only tight end that kind of did their thing. Number 85, man, Gunnar Helm. Gunnar Helm, I am excited to see what he's going to do for the remainder of this year and also next year when he's kind of like the guy, because he's very sneaky good, man. He just doesn't get the props that he should because he's on a team with JT Sanders. And of course, JT Sanders is going to get, the bulk of the snaps there at tight end, especially at flexing when it comes to receiving. But Gunnar Helm, had an NCN number of 57 points for this game, 2 targets and 2 receptions, 37 yards, 1 first down, no explosive plays, but 1 successful play, no drops, and 19 yards of yak. He had a really good game. I liked what I saw out of Gunnar Helm. Blocked very well, also, but caught some really sneaky good passes, man. He's very sure-handed too, so you got to like Gunnar Helm, man. I'm a big fan of him. Last week, I wanted to see him get that touchdown last week when he caught that ball. I was rooting for him, but honestly, he didn't get the touchdown. But look, I'm waiting to see him get that first touchdown. I can't wait till he gets it. He's one of those guys that really deserves it. Now, folks, let's go ahead and take a look at the stats. And so let's look at the NCN offense number for the game. So the game against Baylor, NCN offense, folks, 65.23. It's our second highest NCN offensive score for a game in the season, right behind the Alabama game. The successful play rate, or SPR, for the offensive side of the ball is 50.8%. So 51%, which is the highest we've had pretty much the entire season. So we're highly efficient, highly successful in this offense. And we've talked about what is an SP, what is an SP rate. Successful plays, folks. I'll go ahead and tell you again, on first down, getting at least half the yardage needed on first down to get a first down. So if it's 1st and 10, you get 5 yards. On second down, you got to get 70% of those yards. So if it's 2nd and 5, you got to get 70% of 5 yards, which is 3.5 yards, right? And then on third down and fourth down, 100% of those yards. Texas got 51% when it comes to being successful in nature for this game, which is outstanding. Outstanding. 518 total yards, which is the most that we've had this season. 5 touchdowns this game, which is the most that we've had this season as well, to open conference play. We allowed 4 tackles for loss, which is the second most that we've allowed this season, which shouldn't happen, man. But we had some rushing plays that kind of got snuffed out. We had 3 sacks allowed this game. That shouldn't happen against Baylor. Our line has to get a little bit better on that. No turnovers. Great. And only 1 penalty. Very clean game for the most part. So love what I'm seeing from this team. If we take a look at this and just compare this to what we had last season, 56.03 points is right on line with kind of what we've had over the past 2 seasons. 56 points, it's 55.91 for the 2021 season. 2022, we're at 59.39, 56.03 for this season. The successful play rate for this season, we're at 43.6%. Last year, 47.2% and 45.12 last in 2021. But we're right on cue, man. This is all going to come out. We're going to have some much better games here. It's just, look, the team's starting to get into a roll now. Things are going great. And we're on pace for a lot of yards this year, folks. 1,700 yards, almost 1,800 yards so far this season, and 16 touchdowns over the first quarter of the games, folks. So if I look at 16 touchdowns for the first quarter, you multiply that by 4, folks. Don't kill me in my math here, but I think that's 64. So we're on pace to outdo what we had in the past 2 seasons when it comes to touchdowns. But of course, it's going against Baylor. Baylor's defense wasn't the best. We're going to face some stiffer competition here. We got Kansas next week. We got OU in the week after that. So yeah, we're gonna face some stiffer competition. So we shall see how all this is going to work. Now, 13 tackles for loss allowed. We've got to clean that up. We're on a pace now, folks, to basically have 52 tackles for loss in this team. We got to clean that up. And 6 sacks. So 6 times 4 is 24. We're on a pace to kind of meet the same number of sacks we had in year 1. We got to clean it up as well. And only 3 turnovers. So we're on a pace this year for only 12 turnovers this year. So knock on wood, let's keep that number as low as possible. We're on a pace to best what we had over the past 2 seasons, which is outstanding. Now, penalties, 11. So 11 times 4, 44. We're on a pace for the same as last year. I expect that to be a little bit better this year, but look, the team's doing well. These are coachable moments here for this team, and I'm excited about what we have here. Now, folks, let's take a look at NCN defense. Our defense balled out. They balled out, folks. This game, 80.06, the highest that we've had all season against Baylor now. The SPR for the defense, they've been really steady at around 60% for the entire season. So 61% this game, 53% the last game, 61% against Bama, 62% against Rice. They have been very successful. The goal line defense has been truly amazing this entire season. I think Nash texted us all today and said that Texas leads the NCAA in goal line defense. I think they've allowed it was something stupid, but it was like, look, we are leading the NCAA in goal line defense, and it showed last night. I think they had 4 shots in the red zone, and we basically stopped them all times. And that was after 2 muff punts and everything. So we allowed 0 touchdowns in this last game, which is outstanding. We had 3 tackles for a loss. We had 5 sacks. We are sacking the crap out of quarterbacks this year. You gotta love it. And no fumbles recovered so far in this game. Only 1 for the entire season. 1 interception. Jalen Ford again. It's his second one for the year. And I tell you what, 4th down stops, 3 of them, which I count those as turnovers. So those are 3 turnovers, and we only had 1 penalty. So look, if we equate this to how this defense is doing, and we're seeing exactly what Coach PK has done every season. The first season, the defense was not good at all. We were bottom third of all of college football. The next season, we were top third. And now you're seeing the maturation process, the development of this team. 64.45 points this season for NCN defense compared to last year where we were top third at 51.75%. And then the previous year, 44.86%. So we have increasingly got better every year. And the same thing with our defensive successful play rates, 46.45% in 2021, up to 52.39 last year. And now for this season, 59.2%. We've only allowed 4 touchdowns this entire season, folks. If we're going to continue this on this pace, that means our defense is only going to allow 16 touchdowns. I'm knock on wood. Teams are going to score some touchdowns on us. But look, this is an outstanding start here for the Texas defense. And only 14 tackles for – no, not only. We have 14 tackles for loss and 13 sacks. We almost have just as many sacks this year as we had in the first year in PK's defense. We're doing outstanding. 1 fumble recovery for the entire season and 6 interceptions. We had 7 2 years ago. We have 6 already throughout a quarter of the season and 10 last year. And we have 4 4th down stops and only 5 penalties. So look, man, outstanding work by this defense. You got to love what you're seeing from the Texas defense. So let's take a look at the successful plays and our explosive plays, and we'll get up out of here, folks. Successful plays for this game for the offense side of the ball against Baylor. We have 12 successful rushing plays on 31 rushing attempts for a rate of 38.7%. So it's kind of in line with what we had the whole season. 38% for Rice, 38.2% for Alabama, 47% for Wyoming in rushing, and 38.7%, so 39%. And so it's kind of in line with every game minus the Wyoming game. Now, for the passing side of the house, 16 successful passing plays out of 28 attempts for a rate of 57.1, which is the highest that we've had here for the entire season. And our SPR total, folks, is around 50.8%, so 51%. Now, if you take a look at this for the entire season, we're looking at a successful play rate rushing at 40.2% and 45.6% for passing, respectively, and a total SPR rate, folks, of 43.6%, so 44%. So we got to get those numbers up. 50% is kind of what we want there, folks, but we're looking pretty good there. The team is playing well. So let's take a look at our last stat, folks, explosive plays. And our explosive plays against Rice, we had 2 explosive rushing plays, one by Quinn and also one by Jonathan Brooks on 31 attempts. So 6.5% explosive play rate and 5 explosive passing plays out of 28 for 11.9%, so 12%. And, XP yards, explosive play yards, we had 69 explosive play rushing yards out of our 190 rushing yards, which goes for 36% of our rushing yards came from explosive plays, which is good. And then passing yards, we had 169 explosive yards passing out of 328 total passing yards. Explosive play rate for yards, 51.5. So 52% of our yardage in passing came from explosive plays. And so 238 total explosive play yards out of 518 total yards for the game. at 45.9. So 46% of our total yardage were explosive play yards, and our explosive play our yards per explosive play, folks, 34 yards per explosive play. Really good, really good. So, folks, that's all the stats we have for this game. You guys let me know what you thought about this game. I was highly excited about this game. I thought this was probably the most complete game that Texas has had, minus the special teams, which is very alarming for me because usually our special teams is our most steady uh, group on the field. But look, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. We are Texas with a great coaching staff. Pretty sure Jeff Banks is going to get that corrected real soon. But speaking on special teams, shout out to Trey Wisner. Hell of a hit. Hell of a hit. That's how you make an impact as a freshman. It's on special teams, and he did an outstanding job with that hit. Jaden Blue, he had 3 carries, I think, and had some really good carries. Keelan Robinson, man, just the ultimate teammate. So this team is starting to shape up. Next week, folks, it's going to be against Kansas. It's going to be a really good game. Kansas defense isn't the best, but their offense is very fun to watch, very exciting. Can't wait to see Homer's video on the breakdown for that because that's going to be really good for the Texas versus Kansas game. Ready to see how our defense is going to hold up against that versatile guy at quarterback that they got there, man, Daniel. So, folks, let me know what you think in the comments about the Texas at Baylor recap. Were you excited about the game? How do you feel about how we did it, like in this game? But look, folks, I'm it's like in all my podcasts, man. Do you? Don't be afraid to fail. Outgrow your environment and understand your brilliance. And Ninos Corner, we're out. Horns always up. Hook 'em.